downpipe on my car. It sounds so good.
Yo, rev it.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Yo, you're hitting the brake.
Oh.
This whole celebrity idea is eroding. The whole fame idea is eroding. That shit was sold to us, y'all.
Elon Musk's grandfather was Joshua Haldeman, who was a bigwig in something called Technocracy Inc., which got shut down. He wanted to create a society in which there were no politicians, there were no elections, there were appointed technocrats and bureaucrats. And he was a big supporter, it seems, of Hitler.
White people scare me, bro. They can see their own kids and be like, I'm sorry, who are you? I'm sorry, I got dementia, I just don't. And still remember they don't like niggas. Damn! You can't remember your kids, but you knew that you was racist. This is some boy.
This is Mason Lee Gibson. He's 23 years old, and a couple days ago, he was sentenced to probation for impregnating a child.
It's a rare condition, this day and age, to demand a freak off with so much rage. A stranger's addiction that you'll ever find. Some people say that he's losing his mind. Well, then there must be some magic juice inside the Punisher. 'Cause all I see is a chocolate thing, milk busting over everything. Days gone by, it's the biggest break of the century.
It's like 20-something.
It's 1 to 2,000 per day. That's like a very high number, alarmingly high number. Why don't we talk about, and you can Google it, how many children have been reported lost or kidnapped in the past year? I'll tell you, over 500,000 in the past year. 500,000 kids. There can't be that many negligent parents. Something's happening.
Was identified 11 babies who contracted herpes from the oral part of the circumcision. 2 of them died. The Centers for Disease Control has stated the procedure is not safe.
Not only is it a safe method, it's the safest method.
Rabbi William Handler calls this a direct attack on the ultra-Orthodox Jewish community and its customs, and says government is overstepping its bounds. Cantor Philip Sherman says he's performed more than 20,000 circumcisions, 6 just today. He says this is not about Jewish tradition, but rather everyone's well-being.
Now, today, we know that germs can be transferred, diseases can be transferred from the baby to the moil, from the moil to the baby.
I should never buy Gribnus from a moil. It's so chewy.
So therefore, you can continue this custom by using a sterile tube, a gauze pad, and the rest of the bris is fine.
look what they doing. Look at this video.
Parents, listen up. If your child is wearing these, it is time for you to watch this video, and hopefully by watching this video you will change your mind and not let them wear it. It is serious. Everything that is being touched with their bare foot, it is traveling right into their bloodstream. This stuff right here is made out of toxic plastic, and that is going right through their bloodstream. Listen up and let me know.
Don't wear this type of foam footwear this summer until you hear this. They feel lightweight, soft, and easy, but what most people don't realize is that when these shoes heat up in the sun, on the pavement, or at the beach, they start releasing toxic chemicals. For real. Most foam footwear, including flip-flops and slides, are made from something called EVA foam. This is one of the most toxic types of plastics out there, and it's especially toxic for kids. But here's the part that no one's really discussing, that the soles of your feet, they're one of the most absorbent areas of your entire body. So when you're walking around barefoot in these foam shoes, you're not just touching plastic, you're absorbing toxins directly into your bloodstream. If it were me, I'd ditch the foam and switch to something natural, like real leather or a toxin-free alternative.
Not enough people are talking about this underground bunker that was found in Alabama, okay, that was running for at least 2 years, with children ranging ages from 2 years old to 12 years old, where they were being sodomized, raped, and abused for days on end by many different people. This was a ring that they found. And they say the head honcho is Andre Trejo. And to make matters worse, a lot of the children that they found are the children of the people who were running this ring.
I want to warn you, the details in this case are very disturbing, and some of the images we're going to show you may also be upsetting. But today, Sheriff Jody Wade actually released the picture of the inside of the bunker where they say the atrocities took place. For as long as 2 years this was going on. Authorities say the child victims were tied to that bed and that chair, as well as a pole in that bunker. Then people paid money to violate them. Now you can see the outside of the building. It was built as a storm shelter, but used as a den of horrors for these children. Take a look at the now 7 people who have been arrested in this case. It appears Andres Trejo was running the operation. He's charged with multiple counts of human trafficking. The other 6 people, Chase McElroy, Dalton Terrell, Timothy St. John, Rebecca Brewer, Ricky Terrell, and Sarah Terrell, are facing charges from rape, sodomy, sexual torture, to human trafficking, kidnapping, even bestiality. The sheriff today spoke with how the alleged perpetrators found the victims.
Unfortunately, animals like this, they do have their own network. They've got people that they can call. They've got ads they can take out, be it on any kind of social media platform or something like that. So it is somewhat of an underground thing, but it is well known. Not all the offenders were necessarily familiar with the people that they were purchasing the kids from.
Now, the sheriff says there are many victims are children of the accused. The victims, many of them anyway, are children of the accused. Not only does the sheriff believe that there are more victims out there, but he also believes they're going to be making more arrests in this case. There may be more perpetrators as well.
You just said that this bill does not pay lip service to survivors, because that is the absolute definition of what this offensive bill does. You sit there and you water down the penalties. You're paying lip service to the 16 and 17-year-old victims of sex crimes. I mean, what more does it take for this caucus, the Democrat caucus, to wake up and realize you're on the wrong side of this issue? It is so patently offensive. And why? Because you have an extremist wing of your party that says somehow it is normal to have sex with minors. Let me review the bidding. SB 145 in 2020, signed by Governor Newsom, notwithstanding the theatrics that he has engaged in this week on this bill. SB 145 would allow a predator to molest a child as young as 14 years of age and avoid mandatory sex offender registry. That's what this legislature passed. That's what this governor put into law. Because it is reflective of a perverse, deviant, perverted philosophy that somehow it is normal for men to molest young boys and young girls. SB 357, which this bill is trying to fix, legalize loitering for the purpose of sex trafficking, sex work, and prostitution. Why? Because somehow it was spun as anti-LGBT to try to enforce laws against sex trafficking. I will tell you, as a gay Republican, it is offensive, and a supermajority of the gay community, they disavow the LGBT caucus, claiming that somehow this bill is anti-gay. It's offensive to use the gay community as window dressing for sex trafficking. That's what's going on here. Make no mistake about it. These are young minors. They are victims of sex trafficking, and this bill would allow predatory behavior to continue without punishment. What this bill does is it does pay lip service because it says a couple words that seem to cover 16 and 17-year-olds, but then it takes away the ability of prosecutors to actually prosecute and punish individuals who purchase 16 and 17-year-olds. That, at the end of the day, is the plain English legal standing of what you're about to do.
He was originally charged with a Class 4 felony, but he pleaded it down to a Class A misdemeanor. He will receive 12 months probation, and he has to pay a restitution fee to the victim of $690. For the record, by the way, the story notes that in the Mirandized affidavit, he admitted to it. Now, if you're like me, that is an American with a pulse and a conscience, you might be asking yourself, who the fuck would give a man who impregnated a child probation? Well, that would be Arkansas Judge Scott Ellington. I don't live in Arkansas myself, but if I did, I might be tempted to contact his office and ask him why on earth he thinks that's an acceptable sentence. I want him to look me in the eye, and I want him to genuinely claim that this is actually going to rehabilitate this man. You put that man right back on the street. I am disgusted.
Start at signal 1. It's going to be at the trail to the bottom of these rocks.
What I can and can't do.
This is my residence. You can't step foot in my house.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
I'm investigating a crime. A dog.
A crime? A dog?
Yeah.
Okay, well I have it now.
ID.
I don't have an ID. I'm 17.
Oh, okay, you don't have an ID
No.
at all?
No.
Okay.
Can you please put your foot outside of my house?
No, I'm not.
This is my house. This is my residence.
It's not your house. It's your parents'
I
house.
live here. You can't step foot in my house without a warrant. Where's the warrant at? You don't have
I'm
one.
investigating a crime, okay?
You can't step foot in my house? I just told you couldn't step foot in my
I've already got a
house.
foot in the house, don't I?
This is going all over Facebook.
Okay, go ahead.
What's your badge number and what's your name? What's your badge number?
What's your last name?
What's your badge number?
What's your last name?
What's your badge number?
What is your last name?
I don't have to tell you anything without my mom here.
Get my warrant out of the I think it's open. Where's your mom at?
She's at work.
Where does she work?
I'd rather not tell you that information.
Where's your mom work?
You guys already know because you've been here for this. You went to the work for the same reason before.
826. You told me we haven't been here for this before.
I told you haven't. I said we've never been charged before.
Repeat. Okay, do you have anything on this residence?
There's nothing on this residence except for this dog.
Okay.
So you just all of a sudden have a warrant to get into my house for the dog.
Okay. You've left a warning before? Okay. Did you go to where his mom works?
No, that was Officer Spiker actually. That was Officer Spiker.
If you add up all such regime change operations by the United States between 1945 and 1989, at the end of the Cold War, one scholar, Lindsay O'Rourke, in an excellent book in 2017 called Covert Regime Change, and she was a student of John Mearsheimer at the time, she counted 64 covert regime change operations by the United States, mostly CIA-led, and 6 overt regime change operations, meaning an open war to topple another government. So 70 regime change operations. This is a very distinct kind of statecraft. It is the opposite of diplomacy. You don't have to deal with the other side, you have to control it, or overthrow it, kill it, assassinate the leader, make a coup, fix an election, buy an election, create unrest to topple a regime. And this happened 64 times covertly. What does covert mean? Covert means that the U.S. denied its role, even though it was obvious to the people there. So when these events occurred, they're not really covert in the sense of who did this. Everyone says the United States did it, but the United States said, we didn't have anything to do with it. That wasn't us, that was a local unrest. So I mention all of this because that kind of arrogant statecraft, which is imperial mentality, was the U.S. mentality from 1945 to 1991. It was justified to the American people as necessary because of the war against global communism. So that was the explanation that was given, and especially against the Soviet Union. And the United States accused the Soviet Union of wanting to take over the world, and it used that as an explanation to try to take over the world, every other place. And very importantly and interestingly, the United States rejected neutrality by any country and used the expression, if you are not with us, you are against us.
The Technocracy Inc. produced a map, what they call a technate, and it went from the north of South America, including Venezuela, which Trump is very focused on, Panama, Mexico, United States, Canada, and Greenland, which is kind of extraordinary when you see what's happening with current events. When Technocracy Inc. was shut down in Canada, he went to South Africa, and he's a big supporter of apartheid. Elon Musk, born in South Africa. David Sachs, the AI czar of Trump, born in South Africa. Peter Thiel, massive connections to South Africa and to what is now Namibia. Another guy called Botha, who was related to Pik Botha, the last foreign minister of the apartheid regime. And then they all come together in America together.
You need to watch this clip of U.S. Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Aguilar testify to the war crimes he saw the Israeli military and U.S. contractors commit right before his very eyes. And this is exactly why I will not debate whether this is a genocide or not. It is a genocide, as well documented. If you're still in denial, then I'm sorry, but you're admitting to being complicit. Watch this.
Gaza after he retired and left, he says, when he saw American colleagues and the IDF killing civilians. The soldier is Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Aguilar, a Special Forces veteran of the U.S. Army's Green Berets. He's in Washington. I spoke to him from a spot just near the Gaza border.
I witnessed the Israeli Defense Forces shooting at the crowds of Palestinians. I witnessed the Israeli Defense Forces firing a main gun tank round from the Merkava tank into a crowd of people, destroying a car of civilians that were simply driving away from the site. I witnessed mortar rounds being fired at the crowds of people to keep them controlled.
As a professional soldier with a very long career, what was your professional opinion of what was happening?
My professional opinion of how the sites were established was what I would describe as amateur. Inexperienced, untrained, no idea of how to conduct operations of this magnitude. That would be my most benign assessment. In my most frank assessment, I would say that they're criminal. In my entire career, have I never witnessed the level of brutality and use of indiscriminate and unnecessary force against a civilian population, an unarmed, starving population. I've never witnessed that in all of the places I've been deployed to war until I was in Gaza at the hands of the IDF and U.S. contractors.
Based on the knowledge you have, do you think that you were a witness then to war crimes? I think you're saying that very emphatically.
Without question, I witnessed war crimes. I witnessed war crimes being held by the Israeli Defense Forces, without a doubt, using artillery rounds, mortar rounds, firing tank rounds into unarmed civilians is a war crime.
People can resist hunger for a long time, but in the end their strength ebbs away and deaths can rise exponentially, and that is what seems to be happening now in Gaza. Israel insists its forces have not targeted civilians. Now we have eyewitness testimony to add to the considerable evidence that they've done so as a matter of routine.
It's time to speak up. Donald Trump has signed an executive order today that will have the effect of taking homeless people off the streets and sending them to be locked up for we don't know how long. The executive order directs the Department of Justice to do sweeps of homeless people. They're trying to end vagrancy. And it says that these people are to be taken to civil commitment facilities, mental health facilities, psychiatric facilities. Oh, but here's the thing. If there are no beds available, then the people can be taken to jail or detention centers. Here's the thing. There are no beds. First of all, it would be bad enough. We are saying that if you're homeless, you must have a mental illness and you need to be locked up. That's horrific in and of itself. But then the second part, or they can be taken to jail if there are no beds. There are no beds. I have done criminal law for almost 30 years, and there are no beds. At least in Texas, there aren't, because I have clients right now who have been charged with offenses and are sitting in jail and have been found incompetent to stand trial. When that happens, they have to go to a mental health facility to become competent, and then they're sent back to stand trial. There are no beds. I have had clients wait months and years. I've had a man wait 832 days in jail, incompetent, because there wasn't a bed available yet to send him to become competent. There are no beds. There are no beds in Texas because I have people waiting in the county jail right now for an available bed. So what does that mean? That means that everybody, at least in Texas, who gets rounded up will have to go to a jail or a detention center. But what is the method by which they are released? Because the order sure doesn't tell us. It doesn't tell us how these people then get out. How? If they get a home, how are they going to get a home when they're in jail? This, in essence, is going to make homelessness a crime where people get held indefinitely. Go look at it's on the government website. You can go read the executive order for yourself.
No one's talking about how this Cindy Sweeney ad is a recession indicator, but I will. Anytime there is the beginning of an economic downturn or an economic downturn in this country, there is a push to show Americans, specifically white Americans, that they are still in the best place they can be. The most perfect example of this is this image right here, where you have a white family in a car with big, bold font at the top where it says world's highest standard of living, and off to the side it says there's no way like the American way. It is a double reminder that you are getting paid the most that you can get paid here, even in an economic downturn, and you are in the right place where you need to be. Now, mind you, there are black people waiting in the breadline that would probably have contrary viewpoints to this advertisement, but this country is not trying to appeal to them at this time. Throughout the Great Depression and World War II, you see this consistently in advertisements. Blonde hair, blue-eyed children, eating, smiling. This one specifically says for homes like yours with little folks. So when you see these advertisements, they're not for you and they're not trying to appeal to you. They're trying to appeal to a demographic and say, hey, things are going to get tough. Keep your head up, but you have good genes. The genes that built this country are the genes that are inside you. and this is yours.
As above, so below. As within, so without. That's the law of correspondence. As above, so below. Whatever is going on in your head is going on in your body. Whatever is going on inside your body is going on outside in your life. That's in other words, immediately relevant. Whatever is going on in the heavens is going on the earth. Whatever is going on the inside of the heavens is going on the inside of you in your spiritual, astral, invisible body. You keep that universal principle as you look at things moving in your world to comprehend why. How? Because the law of correspondence keeps working.
You got people out here that are human, that are acting every day of their life. They're not even real. They just on NPC shit. Every day they acting. They don't even know. The world is a stage, dog, and it's a lot of terrible actors. It's a lot of terrible actors out here. The world is a stage. There's a lot of terrible fucking actors, dog. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it, dog. I'm just gonna say it. I tried to tell Spice beforehand I said it, but the whole idea of celebrity, bro, if you're not a real person and you can't stand on your morals and principles out here, move out the way.
The CIA released a document saying the universe is a hologram.
They did.
And basically the document teaches you how to access superhuman abilities as well as use your consciousness to shift your reality. I'm breaking down this document section by section, and this is part 4. This section is pretty short but very interesting because it talks about the use of the hemisync. What they noticed is by putting people through the hemisync system, they could have people access advanced states of meditation, maybe some states that would take the average meditator 20 years to reach, and they could have them reach it pretty much in 10 to 15 minutes. And these states would be where the left and right brain come into complete coherence, so much so that it seems like the whole body and the brain and heart come into coherence as well. Which for anyone who's familiar with Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, he talks a lot about the power of brain and heart coherence. And for those who don't know, hemi-syncing is when you have a different frequency playing in each ear, both between 4 and 7 hertz. And based on what they're saying here, this accelerates your meditative experience and can help you astral travel or astral project.
If you've ever wanted to see a 4th dimensional object, now's your chance. This is called bubble cymatics, and this video is not AI. Try to prove me wrong. But this is so cool, they shoot a light into a bubble.
Let's Tour an Earthship so unique it was featured on HGTV's Zillow Gone Wild. This entirely off-the-grid gem offers zero heating or cooling costs and connects you directly to nature. Inside, this 75-foot-long greenhouse leads you down a bright and airy hallway, connecting the open-concept kitchen and living room to 3 bedrooms and 2 full baths. Massive wooden beams and earthen walls make you feel grounded at home, while skylights and cooling tubes in every room means fresh airflow throughout. And all that greenery boosts oxygen and optimum humidity levels inside. Outside, enjoy a fenced-in yard with apple, nectarine, and peach trees, plus 360-degree mountain views from your private raised deck. But don't just take our word for it. You can actually get a bird's eye view with Sky Tour to zoom in, out, and explore the property's stunning surroundings. And if you ever want to leave, which we don't see why you would, the sustainable masterpiece is just minutes from the Rio Grande Gorge and Black Rock Hot Springs.
Can you shut up so that I can speak? Shut up, please. I want to say that what you see in Gaza now is an act of genocide because 12,000 children have been killed. And these are not 19 years old. These are 5, 6 years old, and 3 years old, and 2 years old. These are children, for God's sake. I am against the killing of 30 Israeli children, which happened on the 7th of October, because they are children and civilians. But nothing in the world could justify, because of the killing of 30 children, the killing of 12,000 other Palestinian children. That is unacceptable. You should look at the real figures. 30,000 Palestinian civilians have been killed, and 72,000 people have been injured by the Israeli murderous army.
Altogether.
This is 4.5% of the population. Hold on. I did not interrupt you, so shut up and let me finish. 4.5% of the population of Gaza have been killed or injured. If that had happened in the United States of America, you would be talking about 12 million people killed or injured in 4 months of time. Is that acceptable? And mostly civilians, 70% are civilians. More than that, Israel is killing Palestinians not only with this terrible genocide, with their bombardment, they are killing Palestinians with starvation. This terrible siege, 50,000 pregnant women, Palestinian women, don't find a place to give birth in. 64,000 breastfeeding women cannot help their babies. And more than that, 700,000 people are now starving because Israel is preventing milk, flour, food to the population of Gaza City and the north of Gaza. And more than that, they shoot the Palestinian hungry people when they are trying to get some food.
Okay, Mr.
They shoot them and kill
you,
them like they did 2 days ago
Mr. Balgucci,
by
let me ask you
killing 100 people and 860 others were injured. So my response to you, yes, this is genocide. These are 3 war crimes happening at the same time. Genocide, collective punishment, and ethnic cleansing. At the same time, 70% of all homes were destroyed. All universities were destroyed. 30 hospitals out of 36 hospitals were destroyed. 347 of my colleagues, medical doctors,
Mr. Balgucci,
and nurses were killed.